Okay, well, we've created a lot of cool stuff in Maya. Specifically, we're going to work on our toys that we worked on a couple weeks ago. We're going to build a world around them. We've got a cool set. We need a backdrop now. So I'm going to go in here to Maya. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a brand new project. Pull up my project window. I want a new project. Assignment, is this 10? My name. This just makes things easier. All right, let's do that. And let me double check. Okay, I've got an assignment 10. Just for giggles, let me go out to Maya and make sure it created all the folders we wanted. Yes, we've got our scenes, we've got our images, everything's cool. All right, come back into Maya. The first thing I'm going to do is, before I even do anything, I'm just going to go ahead and save the scene that we're working on. And it is already, since I set the project, it's dumping into assignment 10 scenes. We're going to call this one New World and save it. Okay, what I do want to do now is I'm going to import one of the police stations. It's actually one of your police stations. And we're going to use that as a reference here. So I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Import. And out on my desktop, I have dumped somebody's police station. This was chosen at random. And we wait. There we go. So now we have a police station in the middle of our scene. Got some color. I appear to be missing some textures. Let me see if I can get these textures back. Reload's not going to work. Looking for station UV. Let's grab that. Yes, no? Whoop, there we go. All right, brought it all in. Luckily, it knew exactly where everything was and applied everything. You may have to sometimes do this one at a time, or one thing a trick that I found that will work is if I point to one texture and only the one shows up, I can save the scene, right? So I could just say save the scene right now, cool, and then reload it. So if I go down here to recent files and then open up the one that I'm actually in, sometimes that will help Maya to catch up and find the rest of the scenes, the rest of the textures in the scene. Okay, so we've got a police station. Looks like a great start for a game. This could be an animation. This could be something cool for a VR experience. So we've got some cool stuff here. There's just not enough going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these things. Let me make sure. I thought I saw a camera floating in the ether. So let me pull over this. Deal. Oh yeah, the cameras are hidden. This was pulled in for me as a group, luckily. What is that down there? Oh. This may have brought in cameras from the other scene when we imported. Anyway, I'm going to grab the group, all of the things, and I'm going to come over here to my layer box, and I'm going to create a new layer and assign the selected objects. So this is cool. We're going to call this station layer. We'll make it blue because, come on, it's a police station. There we go. All right, so what I can do now is from this layer, I can just turn the thing off if I don't need it, or I can change this to just a wireframe, or this is a reference, right? So if I've got this R on for reference, I can't click any of these things, but I can build around it and know what I'm building to, right? So if I wanted to scale some stuff to this, which, surprise, we do. All right, so I'm going to pull that back to the transparent for now. I think the first thing we really want to do is we're going to want, it's going to take a lot of space. We're going to want some mountains and things in the distance. So I'm going to start with a box. And I'm just going to guesstimate. I'm going to say we want these at 100. No. We want these at 1,000 width. And depth. All right. Oh, let me undo this. You know what I just did? I just added this to the station layer. So let me create a new layer and make sure that's selected. And we're going to go ahead and plan for it. Right now, we're going to call it mountains. We can color it. Okay, make sure that's selected. We want that on. Okay, now when we come back and we make our new box, it should be part of the mountains layer. Let's just check that. Okay, it didn't get it added to any layer. But what we can do is with it on, I've got that box selected. I'm going to right click and add selected objects to the mountain layer. Now, cool. Okay, now we'll go back. So we'll just use the channel box instead of the attribute editor. Since we're already here, make that 1,000 wide. And it's 1 high, which isn't too bad, but we're going to move it down because right now it's covering up our stuff. Okay. We could just drop that to 0.5. But you know what? I think we want that taller so we don't have any problems. So let me go back to cube shape. Layer editor. Where am I trying to go? There we go. Let's go ahead and make this plenty tall so we don't run over ourselves. It doesn't need to be this tall later, but for now, I want to be able to select the top without selecting the bottom. And this is getting to be a pretty big object. So we've got that. So instead of 0.5, I think what we want is this to be at -5. No, I made it 20 high. I need it at -10. Okay, and that should sit right underneath our stuff. Okay, that's good. Let me go over to Polycube, and I'm going to start giving it some subdivisions. I'm just going to start with 3 and 3, and that kind of masks it off. Let's do 4 and 4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, well, first thing I need to do is I need to go and make a green. Did I make a green? I already made a green. Okay. So I made a Lambert. I called it green, if you can imagine that. I'm going to assign that here. It's a little too green. I'm going to go back. I think that was a Lambert from the previous scene. So I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to call this one Mountain Green. Always hit enter. Make it a darker color. And go back. Mountain Green. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to grab some faces and I'm going to start subdividing. So I'm just going to grab this frame around the side here. Didn't grab anything on the bottom. Cool. All right, now I'm going to use this button here to smooth it, which is going to add some squares. and then add some squares, and add some squares. I'm going to go back a couple, actually. No, we'll go forward. Let me go back forward. That was fine. I was thinking I wanted a larger city, but that doesn't leave me a lot of room for mountains. Let me do this. Okay. I'm going to grab the outer bunch now. What's cool about Maya, except for this part, is when you grab, when you're holding down your shift and you're selecting a bunch of stuff, and you do it in a pattern, right? So let me undo this. I'm just not selecting anything. So I grab this, and I click this, and I double click the next one, and it figures out that I was going this way, and it just grabs them all. So click, double click, click, double click, click, and double click, and that was enough information for Maya to go, oh, I think I know what you're doing here. I'm just going to unselect the side ones that it selected, but Maya tries to interpret what you're doing and help you out. Perfect-ish. Okay, now I'm going to subdivide again, and one more. That's probably good. So we're going to do it again. All right. Done this time, I promise. Okay, I'm going to grab these edges on the bottom. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this view right here, and I'm going to grab the edges on the bottom. So let me grab all of these edges that I just intersected with, and then control drag all of the edges here. I should just have the bottom. That's helpful. Okay. Not as helpful as I'd hoped. Point being, I want just these edges on the bottom, which I should have now, except for one on the very top I can see. So let me just control drag this guy. Make sure nothing up there is selected. We're down to 24. That sounds right. And I'm going to command and delete. I'm going to pull this face down even more because I don't want it getting involved with what we're about to do. Okay, now faces. And I'm going to use this cool little lasso tool. I'm just going to start grabbing, and we're going to go unselect later. But I'm just grabbing some stuff along the side here. It's okay to get goofy. We're trying to be random as possible. All right. You've got a few random spots selected. Make sure we get the corners covered. I'm going to control and use my selection again. Undo that. We don't want anything on the side. We just want the top ones. Okay. So now we have crazy stuff selected on the top. Yours will look different. That's okay. That's by design. So I'm going to go to the modeling toolkit, and we're going to try out the soft selection tool here. And it is highlighting up around what we selected in addition to what we selected, right, on volume. And so I'm going to try and pull that to, let's say, 12. We'll try 20. Okay, I'm just going to pull up right now. And this should just be faces. And we've got the start of some foothills. Okay, I'm going to turn off soft select, and now I'm going to try a new extrusion. So the same one's selected. I'm going to pull up. And we're going to put some offset in there. Okay, so I go keep faces together off, then I get a whole lot of spikes, which we may want to do at the end here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down. Not what I wanted to do. Okay. I'm going to unselect some of these with my little lasso. So I'm going to hold down to control. I don't want those. I don't want those. Again, kind of random, because not everything is going to go up the same way. And I'm just unselecting random bits. I almost don't even care. I don't want it to be uniform. So I'm just grabbing pieces here and there with the control. There we go. And some more here. All right, now we're going to do extrude again. Odd, we have some going the other way. A little bit of an offset, a little too much of an offset. You know what, that's fine. We're just going to offset by 2. And we got some weird hills and stuff going on. I'm going to come down. I'm going to apply that, hit it again. And this is where we're going to get, do that. There we go. Now we'll try the extrude again. We'll pull it just a little bit, and we're going to turn off keep faces together. And it goes completely goofy. And if I offset by 4 with a height of around 8, then I start to get some peaks. We're going to leave that as it is. Don't know what happened back there. But anyway, you get the idea, right? So we don't have a lot going on here, but we've created some mountains in the background. Things we can fix later, obviously. I'm going to grab that face. I'm going to pull them back up to the center. Let me try to harden the edges on that because it looked like we had some weird smoothing going on. That's better. Okay, now if we zoom in, let me go back to my channel editor here, turn the mountains on and off. That's right, I cannot select the station. All right, so let me see. Now I'll grab this, let me zoom in on the car. And as you can see, even if we shot now, right, did some kind of a animation or a game, we've got some goofy looking Lego mountains in the background, and they got some problems, but we can fix those. But this is already a little more compelling than just having this police station and car floating out in the ether. So let me make sure my mountain is saved properly. I'm going to go back to reference on the police station. Got my mountain selected. It's still called a cube, which is terrible. We'll call it mountains. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit and delete some of the history. And now we should just have mountains, mountain shape, and mountain green. Everything should be cool. This is the layer right here where it says mountains and it's already a green. Let me save that. And then we can come back in a sec and start building a city around those mountains, or inside those mountains.